Hey guys, it's Ghost Queen. It's one of those days. I just decided today's going to be another episode in my Path of the Crone series. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. Discernment, um, and some of the new ways of the world that we have to cope with when it comes to technology and the internet. So if you're someone like me who, I did not have very attentive parents, a narcissist mother, an alcoholic father. I was an only child. So, pretty much anything I've ever learned, I've learned on my own. And I did move out of the house at 17. I lived in Boston for a decade. So, I became pretty street smart. And yeah, pretty much anything I know about anything, I had to learn myself. And I'm a completely self-taught person in a lot of ways. I mean, I did go to college, part-time for a while, but eventually I couldn't afford it anymore. I had to drop out. I was studying American Sign Language and Deaf Studies. I wanted to be an interpreter for deaf people, but got to the point where I couldn't afford it, had to drop out of school. I was going through my first divorce. And I've done some other things throughout the years. I mean, I started working at the age of 11 to make my own money. And yeah, I've had a very full life with a lot of different things, and I've learned a lot. And this whole thing with the internet, it's happened so fast, and people are still trying to catch up, and people are still trying to learn, and I just think we're going to see so many unusual new forms of human behavior because of the internet. Now, being, a woman of a certain age and having been through, 2 divorces, I've dated on the internet. In fact, I can remember doing a blog a long time ago, because I've done blogging as well, where I talked about, Match.com and Plenty of Fish and what was the other big one back then? There was one other one. Match.com, Plenty of Fish. Oh, OK Cupid. Yeah, I talked about dating sites and stuff, and and how to be wary and careful about going to meet men and whatnot. These are all new things that our parents didn't deal with. So and now we're having to teach our children how to deal with these things as well. You have all this new technology, and so just a little while ago, I was Scary Larry, better known as Moses, who's one of the original, paranormal people on YouTube, who I certainly learned a lot from and love him. He's a great guy. He was talking about someone who just scammed him on the internet, and a bunch of other people, I guess. And, this is the thing. There's just so much we're going to need to learn, new skills we're going to need to learn to navigate this new world and living with the internet in our lives and all this technology. And discernment is a huge skill that people need to learn. And this is a skill that will help you in magic and in witchcraft, and it will help you in life, and it's a very important skill. And I feel like a lot of people don't have it. And yeah, experience is a great teacher, and this is how you're going to learn things in life. Some people like to just, watch other people do it. I'm one of the type of people that I've never been very nervous and scared of things. Maybe it's an autism thing, I don't know, but I just go out and do things. Have never had a ton of fears. And whatever fears I had, I wanted to conquer. I think one of my last biggest fears is I'm still not super comfortable with heights, but I don't know that I need to conquer that necessarily. We'll see. But I don't have a lot of fears, and I think it's good to challenge and confront your fears. And anyway, the internet. Now, I've gotten a lot of judgment for a lot of things in my life by utter strangers on the internet that mean nothing to me, and it shouldn't bother me. But I'm the type of person, I care about, who I am. And so, of course I think about things that people say about me. And, there's been a lot of judgment, about my relationship and the way I chose to do some things and whatnot. But my children are the most important people in my life, and their safety is my primary job. So I would never bring my children into a situation where I didn't feel like they were going to be absolutely safe. So, I'm always going to stand by my decisions. And certainly I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. But on the whole, I don't have a lot of regrets in my life. Everything I do for a reason. And yeah, All right, so with the internet, it's very easy to feel, there's a lot of people who develop these relationships over the internet, and it's very easy to feel like we know someone. It's similar to like when you watch a celebrity on TV, and it's easy to feel like, you know them, and you feel close to them and whatnot, but they don't know you, and they don't feel close to you. It's a false feeling. It's a false familiarity, and now you've got people who are sort of chatting over the internet, becoming friends, and they feel so, close to these people and loyal to them, and but you don't know these people, you don't know them. Really, the only way you can, Christ, you have people that are married to bloody serial killers, and look what they can manage to not know about their own spouses. It's like, unless you've really spent time with person in real life, lived with them, whatnot, you don't know people, and even then you might not fully know them. It's hard to, if someone wants to deceive you, trust me, they can, especially when there's feelings of love or emotions involved. You can deceive people, you can be deceived by people. So discernment is a really good skill to have. I've also seen this new phenomenon happening, and I was just talking to one of my friends about it this morning, where you have these relationships developing over the internet where a person might already be in a relationship, married or not, but they're in a current relationship, and they're not getting satisfied through that relationship for whatever reason, either it's sexually or emotionally. Somehow their needs aren't being met, the romance has died, whatever. Their needs aren't being met, so they're seeking out relationships over the internet to have these needs met. And a lot of these people, I feel, have no intention whatsoever of making these internet relationships real in any way. They're just fantasy, and they're a crutch and a coping mechanism, a way to survive in their current relationship by getting some needs met from another person, and they never have any intention of making the internet relationship real. It's a new thing. It's a new phenomenon that I've seen happen. And Wayne knows, when he tried to romance me over the internet, I was the hardest fucking sell, because I just didn't trust internet relationships, and I didn't think he was sincere, and I didn't think it would go anywhere, and it took me a while, like, and a lot of wooing for me to actually believe that he meant it, and there were certain things I did to protect myself, to make sure that he meant it. I could only devote so much of my attention to him before I finally had to say, okay, enough is enough. I definitely had a timeline, of like, I'm only going to play with this for a certain amount of time, and then I have to walk away from it because I'm going to have to decide it's not real. So I guess, I want to advise women to be really careful on the internet, and I never sent out a naked picture to anyone on the internet. Don't do it unless you're an exhibitionist and you don't mind. Just don't do it, I mean, fuck, I have a husband I regret sending naked photos to on phones, like, don't do it, people. If you don't ever want that out there, don't do it. And I see younger women doing this left and right, and it just, and I'm not much of a prude, but if you don't want that used against you at some point, you need to be careful. So, yeah, I really just see a lot of the younger generations losing their ability to discern and their critical thinking. And, these are some things that concern me. Be smart. You have to be smart, and you have to take care of yourself, and you have to think clear. And not get duped. It's very easy to look. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants love and acceptance, and to feel good about themselves and to feel wanted. These are all things people want, men and women. So, but you have to understand that with the internet, it's easy for people to just create themselves in any way they want to be seen. They can alter their image. They can lie. They can, you might look at somebody, for instance, and wonder, like, why were they ever with that person? Well, if they met over the internet, maybe they didn't really see that person exactly for who they are. Like, maybe they were sold someone that the person wasn't really that image that was sold. People can be tricked. And especially if you're sort of a warm, loving, trusting, giving, caring person, you're the most vulnerable, because there's a lot of people out there who are not that way, and they don't care about you, and they don't care about your best interest, and it's that whole thing you come back to with the empath and the narcissist. The internet is just a breeding ground for these people to take advantage of people. And when it comes to money, people will do things, shady shit, for money. They will throw away morals and ethics and scruples for money, and people who are really good at scamming, and are really good at manipulation, and they'll play on your heartstrings, people, and this comes back to, like, the whole thing with fake psychics, cold readers. They know how, these people, they study up on this shit. This is why the paranormal is such a vulnerable community. Because these people know what they're doing. They study on how to do it, and they're gonna take you. Okay? And they're professionals. They know what they're doing. And so many people will do, horrible things for money. So be careful. Discernment is a very, very important quality to have. You have to be able to have discernment and critical thinking, and think about what a person's motives might be, so you don't get taken. Yeah. So, and this all comes back down to regulating emotions. Emotional regulation is such an important thing. You have to regulate your emotions and be able to think clearly, because when emotions are running high, people don't think clearly. They just don't. If you're very angry, if you're very passionate and in love, these are all times when people just don't think clearly. There's so many emotions that will cloud your thinking. So, I see a lot of people out there who try to control other people when they haven't even mastered their own selves, and until you can master your own self and know your own self and control your own self, you can't, certainly you shouldn't be trying to control or anyone else, know yourself. Learn to be able to recognize what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. And the more you can do that, and the more you can regulate your own emotions, the less people will be able to take advantage of you, because that's how they do it, is by manipulating your emotions. So, yeah. I'm not thinking too clearly right now because of the bloody heat. I'm outside. I'm telling you, the heat melts Southerners' brains. I was saying that to Wayne last night. We went to get some food last night, and I was like, oh no, actually it wasn't. That was the day before. We went to Subway and we were grabbing some Subway, and I'm like, the heat is melting my brain and I can't think clearly. And must be what happens with Southerners, is the heat melts their brains and they can't think clearly, and that's why they get so angry all the time too. But it's the same with Northerners in the winter. They go stir crazy, and then they don't think clearly from cabin fever. So we've all got our issues. No one's better than the other. Oh, life is funny. Life is funny. But, it's good and it's bad. There's good things, there's bad things, It's never one or the other. This is part of what you learn in life. And, you need to learn to take care of yourself and look out for yourself. And, you shouldn't be too trusting, but you shouldn't be completely jaded. Moderation is key. Moderation is key, people. In all things. A little bit what I wanted to talk about. I'm starting to get very warm. It's so hard. Like last night, we bought a bunch of solar lights for our driveway and for this path, and I was outside last night at like midnight trying to put these things up. It might have even been like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm trying to install these solar lights because I'm like, it's got to be cooler now. But it was still like 89 degrees, 89% humidity, and I was like soaking wet within 15 minutes. It's a very hard time of year to get anything done outside. But I wanted to work on my I got my gardening bag out here. Wanted to work on my succulent garden a little bit today, and was going to maybe try to do a little weed whacking, but it's very warm. Good Lord. So we'll see how I feel. I might have to go in and out, cool off a little bit, then come back out and do it. But yeah. And if you followed my saga with Pacas, the dog, he was adopted yesterday. It literally brought me to tears. I was so happy. And I've spoken with the family that adopted him. They have a couple of boys and another dog and a cat and chickens, and they love him. They say he fits right in, and I just couldn't be happier that Pacas is now going to have a loving home and a loving family and what he deserved from the start. So yeah, I'm giving myself a little pat on the back there that I did a little good for that dog who I dearly loved, but I just didn't feel like this was the right place for him for multiple reasons. So yay for Pacas! See, there's always some good in the world. There's always some good people out there willing to help. There's helpers out there in the world. So, another thing I was saying to Wayne, like a big tenet of, NA and AA is service, and service to others is very rewarding, service to the planet, service to other people or to animals, or I'm often telling people, go volunteer somewhere. You're depressed, go volunteer somewhere. It's very rewarding service. So yeah, some other good little tidbits of advice. All right, I'm getting too warm to think, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I didn't stream last night because Wayne and I ended up shopping, doing some errands, and then grabbing something to eat. And we came home and started watching something on the TV. So I am hoping to stream tonight, but I'm making no promises. We'll see how it goes. Wayne may be sacking out kind of early because working in this heat is really sucking the life force out of him. So, and I may be up. So in that case, yeah, I might stream and do a spirit box session. So we'll see. Keep your eyes posted on Ghost Queen Paranormal. And yeah, that's it, guys. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. And Larry, Moses, I hope you feel better real soon. Try to keep your chin up, keep positive, and love you. And it was summer solstice yesterday. Hope everyone enjoyed it. I did. I know everybody seemed really happy, and it was wonderful. Great to see happy people. So until next time, I bid you adieu.